The pictures tell the story. This life had many shades. I'd wake up every morning and before I'd start each day, I'd take a drag from last night's cigarette that smoldered in its tray. Down a little something, then be on my way.
And we're live. What's up, guys? It's the Whiskey Rebellion Barcast.
Hey.
How's everyone doing?
Good.
Cool. David, be hosting tonight because Jody is getting ready for the weekend tasting bash, whatever you want to call it, but it's Whiskey Rebellion affiliated bourbon tasting party / insanely pool party at his house. That's going to be this Saturday, and it's going down to the 40s at night around here. And so, like, I know he was a Navy swimmer and shit. Like, it's cool, but like, some of us aren't about that life, right? I will have to be here. He's like, "Well, go ahead and bring your trunks anyway." I'm like, "Sure, Jody, I'll do that." I'm not bringing my trunks. I'm not getting in that water. I'm not getting talked into it. But I am hoping we're all gonna have a good time. But anyway. Yeah, what's up, guys? What's new?
Before we get started,
yes,
let me give a special shout out to Miami-Dade County, City of Miami, Fire Department, Tallahassee, Fort Lauderdale, Jacksonville, all the different police department and first responders who are already at ground zero over on the west coast of Florida. Literally, they basically took it in the ass overnight. There are houses in certain parts of the town that are literally completely gone. At one point, you had alligators swimming down the street. They're doing bad over there. Down over here on the East Coast, we didn't get too much of anything. But let me say again to all the first responders, those guys were on their way over there as soon as it was humanly possible. Unfortunately, we lost 16 souls in the storm. And that's kind of high for Florida. Usually we hunker down and all that. So my well wishes out to everybody in Florida and anybody else who's going to have to kind of deal with this storm. But let's keep these first responders in prayer because it's a bad situation, guys. It's bad.
Yeah, it really is. And we're glad you're doing okay, by the way.
Yeah.
If it had been a little bit farther east where that thing hit landfall, you'd be coming at us from the Cafe 305 submarine.
And I wouldn't wish that on anybody.
No, certainly not.
That thing was 2 miles away from a Category 5 at one point. Yeah. So the way it works, there's a scale. 155 is a Category 4, a very strong 4, and 157 starts a Category 5.
Yeah. So, and that's sustained winds, and that's an insane amount of damage. Just I can't even imagine what it looks like.
Yeah, I mean
the devastation.
I was here when Andrew hit South Florida and over here on the East Coast, and it did so much damage. It changed the building codes in all of Florida, and everything that they did, it did absolutely nothing to help them people over there. And again, another shout out to the FP&L workers, all the power companies that came down from like Georgia and Alabama to help get them people out of the dark. But guys, it is bad. It is really bad. Nobody expected it to be that bad. So let's keep them in our prayers. And I don't want to start the show off on a sour note, but sometimes we have to look at bigger and better things.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
no, that's true, brother.
We are glad you are okay, obviously. And it is just a terrible situation that people were ordered to evacuate for a while. Then it said no, shelter in place. You really don't have any choice now. So everyone's just in it until it's over. So and again, shout out to all the first responders because that is some serious work, man.
Yeah, and the storm itself was wider than the entire state. Yeah, just to give you a perspective. Crazy. I drive from Miami, which you can't get too much further east, over to Tampa, Sarasota, Fort Myers area. It takes me about 2.5, 3 hours, depending on worst case scenario, it's about 5. and that storm was big enough to cause trouble over here and trouble over there at the exact same time.
That is wild.
So that's how big it was. So,
Awe-inspiring in the worst sort of way.
yeah,
man. But yeah, let's get into it. Let's kind of bring up the tone a little bit. Let's talk about what we're all drinking tonight. Billy, were you just turning up a Corona? Is that what you got?
Yeah, watching the game on my phone.
There you go.
Having a little Corona.
Go Bengals, right?
Yeah, no, I hope they get their asses whooped.
It's got the Dolphins.
Listen, because if we listen, I give the Bengals credit because they did get to the Super Bowl last year. You cannot say anything bad about Joe Burrow. That man came out of college, winning the NFL, and was balling. That dude ain't scared of nobody, not even God himself. That dude's scared of on the football field. So you got to give him some credit. But if we can get past them, I mean, the Jets, I think Green Bay might give us some trouble. But otherwise, I think the Dolphins are going to have a hell of a year. So.
Well, good deal. Best of luck. I'm only talking shit out of a sense of obligation, and I got a Bengals player whose name I had to look up. In all fairness, but I knew I had one. who's starting tonight? So, and I need a win. I need to get in the black on my record here. Anyway, Gino, what you drinking, sir? Sports ball.
I'm enjoying some smoke wagon small batch this evening.
Oh, nice stuff.
And I ordered this a couple weeks ago. It arrived, and I've enjoyed it ever since. Gonna place another order tomorrow. So
yeah, don't blame you.
Good stuff.
There's some good shit.
Nice.
Chuck, sir, what you drinking?
So tonight I'm drinking Frank August. This is I've had this for 3 months now. And it comes in at 100. Hard to read, actually. No, it's 100 proof, actually. And it's actually a Wilderness Trail distillate. It's called Frank August. You can see it right at the.
It's got a very minimalist kind of bottle design there.
And on the back, it has a very translucent sticker that has gold lettering on it. Very basic bottle. However, the topper on it's very, very heavy brass.
No doubt.
Probably knock somebody out with this thing if you threw it at them. But yeah, it's a Wilderness Trail distillate. It's got a nice neck ring on it here, 100 proof, 50%, 750 mil, small batch, Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. And it's supposed to be, I just found this out, that it's an 8-year product.
No doubt.
And
I have never seen anything like that on the show.
No.
Never seen
it comes in at about $63.
That's not
on
terrible.
The shelf price.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah.
And Wilderness Trail, 8-year, little over 8 years. And the people that I had some of this with, I shared it with them when I bought it. They mentioned that this rivals, and I kind of agree with them, although I don't compare things. Blanton's.
Really?
They said that, if they had to choose Blanton's or this, they would choose this.
Nice.
Really?
Yeah, and this is available, more so available in, the areas that carry it than Blanton's is.
Sure.
Now, Chuck, let me ask you real quick.
Yeah.
You said they would take that over Blanton's.
Yes.
Did they happen to give a little bit of insight as to why?
Yeah, they said Blanton's is overhyped.
Okay.
So, but is it like similar flavor profile?
Yes.
More available.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. They said it's a similar flavor profile. Yeah, exactly. And that it is much more flavorful than Blanton's is.
I've got a follow-up question for you. I've heard people say the same thing of Ancient Age, that it's like a poor man's Blanton's.
I just bought 3 bottles of that today.
Well, that answers that question.
And I have a 4th one thanks to Mark.
Yeah, I've looked for you usually can't find them in like non-plastic bottles, which again should send off some warning bells.
Yes, I don't buy them.
If you're in the liquor store buying the plastic bottle stuff, but I've done that in the past. I thought it was pretty good. I didn't do a side by side with Blanton's to see how it really like stacked up, but like you think that sort of adage kind of holds true?
Can you repeat that again?
Do you think that it holds true that it is very much like a poor man's Blanton's, that it's
Yes.
pretty close?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay. Well, there you have it, guys. Go get your Ancient Age.
And the only reason why I didn't
quit queuing up for Blanton's.
Yeah. The only reason why I didn't buy the plastic bottles is because I just don't like the plastic, and I think that the plastic leaches out into the product over time.
I believe that it does. Yeah.
And so I ordered 3/5 of it today, or yesterday, and got them today.
Very nice.
And it's interesting you say that about the bottles. And a lot of people may or may not notice, but even water has an expiration date on it.
Mm-hmm.
But the expiration date is not for the water; it's for the actual plastic bottle itself. And that's why they also tell you leave a bottle of water in your car and it's hot. Don't drink that water because the heat leaches chemicals into the water. And as you guys all know, I use plastic bottles for my sauce, but I don't bottle my sauce hot at all. It's completely cold when I bottle it. But in the process, I will take one of my bottles, put some water, and drink just a little bit of it, just to make sure it doesn't have that plasticky taste to it.
Mm-hmm.
So I totally understand where you come from with that. Absolutely.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, no, that's good. That's good insight. And I have definitely drank water bottles that have sat in the back of my car for months. Sometimes they've already been opened, but sometimes you just need some water. and I figure, everyone's got to die of something, right? So
not plastic.
Yeah, right.
Anyway. Oh, I got comments. We got comments. Who's in the comments?
What's up, my brothers?
Good.
So I got my shirt on. Hey Billy, I got my Hollywood, Florida. My Hollywood, Florida Hard Rock shirt on.
Nice.
I picked this up right before COVID at the Super Bowl when I was down there. And shout out to Florida. I've been bugging my Florida folks all day. I know.
Nice.
I might get on your nerves. That's all right. I'm gonna keep bugging your asses, damn it.
No, listen, man, it's okay.
So far though, everyone's been pretty good. All my folks have been good except no power. And that's going up to Orlando and Tampa. So doing pretty well.
Yeah. Today when I was out and about, I probably made about 20 phone calls. I actually called up my customers that are in Florida, and called and checked on them because I got some up in Jacksonville. I got a few over on the West Coast. It just takes a second, send a text, and you guys reached out to me, and I really do appreciate it. And we need it. I ain't gonna even lie.
Yeah.
Mark, what you drinking on, brother?
So I'm in my Atlanta mode. So I don't know if you can see the glass right here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man.
Atlanta Allocated Bottle Group. Shout out to my brother Bridge. Sprayberry. This is chocolate cherry pie. Yeah.
Ooh.
Damn, that sounds good.
Even gives you a recipe on the side.
That's great.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I'm smoking a lunatic that brother Rob gave me. I'm struggling with this, man. I'm trying Billy this damn gauge.
I see. What is it like? What is it like a 110, 120?
You look like you're smoking a bratwurst.
God damn, this shit is big. I'm sorry. As they say in New York, pause. But God,
that's what she said.
Put this big ass shit in my mouth. What the? Feel bad now. Never mind. But yeah, Rob, thank you for the stick, brother. It is a good stick. I do like lunatics. So this is that. They've been in the Humi for a while since he sent them. So I've had these at least 6 months, at least, if not longer. But yeah, so I'm good though, man. It's sunny here, so I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
Okay. Crazy week to week though. Woo.
Mm-hmm. So Chuck, I got a question for you. You speaking about the bottle that you have there, and you mentioned about the cork. You being real up on that kind of stuff. Do you know much about how they come to choose the bottle and the cork and the whole nine? You know much about how they come to that decision?
I don't. I've actually been to New Riff Distillery back in 2014 when I was employed in the fire protection industry, and they were basically had a bunch of bottles and they were discussing what type they were going to use and what, the cork and the toppers and everything and the labels. And they had a bunch of different bottles there, but they really didn't discuss how they sourced them or where they were going to get them from. It was just basically the design, how the presentation would look. That's basically all it was about, was how their bottle was going to look compared to everyone else's and how they could make it different. So I actually, to answer your question, no, I don't know much about how they source and how they go about that, because I do know they use, of course, real cork, synthetic cork, and I think a combination of both.
Yeah, because I know, like, it seems like with some of the higher end brands, they use the real cork. Some of the, I don't want to say low end stuff, but I can understand why the synthetic cork is cheaper, and I've learned through doing a couple of things myself that bottles based on height, availability, shade of color, all these things play a big factor. There's the Tennessee Bottle Company, and they have a lot of different stuff, but from a retail standpoint, even their bottles, even their most basic bottle is like $4 and some change. Of course, the more you buy, the cheaper it gets.
Sure.
But that's something that I think could really play a major factor in as far as, how much they're going to charge. Can they get it? Can they get enough of it? I mean, I can only imagine what a Blanton's bottle must cost, and they have to keep that same bottle.
Right.
For the Eagle Rare, I think it's the 20-year that actually has the Eagle inside. I forget why I saw it, but they actually make those bottles by hand, and put the little Eagle inside it and the whole nine. So I can only imagine what those bottles must cost them. But, it's just wondering, because I'm sure there's a lot that goes into it. You have to then factor in stuff like labels and so on and so forth.
Right.
Even the way a bottle is shaped can dictate how many you can put in the case and how you can ship it and what it takes to ship it, the whole nine. So everything plays a different part. I was just wondering, though. Yeah,
I mean, some bottles, even like this one, even your what is it, the Old Fitzgerald, they'll come with a wrapper, like a plastic baggie.
Yeah.
And then they'll insert them into the box because they don't want to damage the labels. Because sometimes with certain products, especially Joseph Magnus, you'll see the labels have a very small tear at the top corner, like a rounded, like a teardrop tear. And that's because they don't place, them in baggies. They just, they drop them into the boxes, and I think they get damaged that way.
It's kind of a travesty considering what someone's going to pay for Magnus.
Yeah, I believe the MSRP on that's about $210.
Yeah. Yeah. Oof. That's painful.
And even the basic Joseph Magnus that I've seen in total wines is between $95 and $105.
Is that the cigar blend one?
That's the one.
No, that's $210.
Yeah, that's the
cigar blend's $210.
Chuck, I still got the bat signal up for that, brother.
I'm sorry?
I still got the bat signal up to you for that one.
Okay. Let me see what I can do.
You need to hit up Jody because I know he had one. I think he ended up giving away his open bottle because
didn't he give it to Billy?
He had a regular one, didn't he?
He gave it to somebody. I don't know who.
He offered it to me, and I was like, I think I'll pass. Only because I had Joseph Magnus before, and pause even before I say it. It left a very uncomfortable feeling in my mouth. Like I just,
unlike Cafe 305, you don't want it anymore.
No,
all in your mouth.
I didn't want that in my mouth.
In and around, man.
No. And
as Mark says,
I don't
pause.
Yeah, I don't want to talk bad about the product because I don't know if it was something I had before. But if I'm gonna try something that I've never had, I try to have it with an open mind. But
Yeah.
that was like, no, I don't think so.
It's not for everyone.
Not everything is for everybody.
Oh,
No, that's for sure.
Gino,
Yes, sir.
you got a bottle coming your way, brother.
Ooh.
I'm gonna try to get it in the mail today, or well, it won't be tonight. It'll be I'll try to get it in the morning when I go make my my Friday run.
Oh man, that's awesome, dude. And let me know if there's anything in my area that I can send out there.
I'm gonna repost that list.
Not a problem, man. If I can find it, I'll get it to you.
See, I
Yeah.
wanted to make tonight's topics why other bourbon groups suck as compared
Yeah,
to ours.
Oh,
but you got to be in this. I'm just being a smartass.
Well, we could do that though. I mean, there's a lot to talk about.
there is a lot to, and I don't mean like all other bourbon groups, but there's a lot of them.
Oh, we got you.
Not great,
Yeah.
but I think instead to let me say what I'm drinking for, because I talked about it before the show, but I don't think since we've been on. I'm drinking, and I've had this on the show here before. Oak and Eden. This is their finished whiskey, the Spire Select release or whatever from I don't know how many years ago, a couple years ago, I think.
Yeah.
The
How is that?
French oak. It's pretty decent. It's a little bit on the hotter side. It comes in kind of hot on the front at 116, but it mellows out pretty nicely after that.
I've been walking past that for 2 years.
I've been enjoying it
At least.
more every time I've had it.
Okay.
To be honest, the first time I tried it, I didn't care for it at all, and I was like, I got snookered by the sticker and the little wooden stick in there, like, but like it's grown on me in time.
Okay. I like that.
I just changed my expectations. I don't know. Because that can play a significant factor, right? When someone tells you, "Ooh, 210 bottle of Joseph Magnus," it's going to be the bee's knees, and you taste it, and you're like, not really, because you were expecting something amazing. Versus, hey, this was $10, and you go, okay, it's not so bad.
Right. Yeah.
But that is how it is. I would say try it out somewhere first. If you're at a bar or something, if you can get yourself a pour of it before you go in. I want to say I paid $60 for it at the time.
Okay.
55 maybe, something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, not awful. Not awful at all.
Okay.
I'm enjoying it tonight.
Yeah. Oh, hey, David, did I send you a sample of that Optimus rum?
I don't think so.
I'm trying to
Optimus?
think if I did. Yeah.
You know what? I think you did, but it's been a while.
Yeah.
And I think that's been down the hatch a good minute ago.
Yeah, I
enjoyed it though.
I sent one to Jody. He loves it.
Well, good. Yeah,
So
I would expect him to.
Yeah, it's a 25-year rum from I think it's from Dominican Republic, or is it Dominican Republic. 25-year, and the last year or so they aged it in a port wine barrel.
Man,
it's got a hell of a finish. It's a damn good rum.
that sounds magical.
Optimus.
My only complaint, Chuck, I had to send you a sample. My only complaint is the price. But it's a damn good rum.
Is it north of 100?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what's up.
That's one that
that's
one
one
I called one of my cousins. I said, cuz, this rum. And so if I mention it, some of them say, all right, how much? I said, it's really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how much? It's really good, brother. It's really good. How much?
How much is it? It's
good,
delicious.
When
You'll love it.
When I tell them what we pay for rums here, they laugh.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And I sent Jody a bottle of I sent him a sample of white oak. So white oak is that's the everyday drinker in Trinidad.
Mm.
That's the one when if you use every other car, there's
you sent me a white rum. And I did. I may not have been the same one, but the one you sent me, I did not. I think it was an American distillery.
Yeah, I got to get some more of that.
Not great by itself.
Yeah.
So
that's our daily sipper. Now again, most Americans couldn't stand it. They wouldn't like it at all. But that's the everyday sipper. We pay about maybe $10 Trini. Yeah. About 10 US roughly, give or take.
Okay.
It runs me about 20 here, but that's because I got to ship it.
So it goes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I really love about our group, not that I participate in a lot of other bourbon
Too beaucoup, Mark.
And then Rob.
You need to come back and tell Rob it's too beaucoup.
Holy shit.
Especially
I'm glad we're all
when it
old enough to
comes.
remember that reference. Sorry, Billy, I'm fucking you up. I'm
Sorry, Billy.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Look at my jaw.
No, no. So I like our group for a few good reasons. One, I think we had some really uh, choice selections. Our palates are different, but sometimes the same. Um, the fact that a lot of us are in a lot of different regions gets us exposure to a lot of different stuff. Um, and I've yet to see another group, especially the big Facebook groups, where there's more education or like real thought process on a bottle or a sample of something that goes out. This I think it was yesterday I made a post about the new sauce that I'm coming out with, and I kind of did it the way Chuck does when he makes a post of the label that's coming out, and that's really what made me think of it. So, what we get educational wise from each other, the different personalities, the different tastes. Um, and I hate to use this word, but I don't think anybody's in our group is a hater. Nobody's feeling like, what, I'm better than everybody else, and I got all this good expensive stuff, and nobody else can have it. So that's one of the reasons I think I really, really enjoy our group. I think everybody's in it has their heart in it. Nobody's doing it for profit, as with a lot of the other groups.
No, and like you said about education, that post that Chuck made about the Remus Great Gatsby version. I mean, that's a damn good read. And it's like, man, I got to find this now, man. I'd read that. It's
Sure.
like,
I had to give a list of products to one of my guys today, and I made a list of like 15, 18 products that I'd like to have, and they ranged from wild prices to, MSRP prices to not so wild prices. And Remus was, that Remus Gatsby was one of them. And I'm just hoping it comes through for him.
Come on. Cannot refuse the Godfather.
But
there's really one bottle that I really want to have, and that's a Michter Celebration.
Nice. But and especially the big groups, I've never seen anything else like that, where we get that kind of bourbon news flowing in, even if you can't necessarily get your hands on it. The fact that it's out there, there's some good reads on stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's some things that it's just interesting to know. I certainly, before they booted me from Bourbon Nation, there was anything close to that. So
they're still not.
No, I can only imagine. I'm not missing the group at all. I mean, so it's okay with me. But again, that's one of those things that I feel we have a definite advantage over most, if not all, groups.
I hear you. Yeah, and we throw some side eye from time to time. I would not mind a full dedicated episode to throwing shade on some of the other practices of other groups and things like that. If you guys are interested in that at some point.
I'm in.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Because I know you all have experience. Well, you weren't. I don't think you were on last week. We were talking about someone who was using your profile picture to try and scam people.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Dude, I'm
you
so
with
sick
your
of that.
cigar and the bourbon and the shirt and all that stuff, and like someone with a fake ass profile from Southeast Asia or wherever, like trying to be like, oh yeah, just give me your Venmo information and I'll totally get you that bottle. But so sorry that shit's happening to you. But that's what happens when you're the guy. So I wanted to move on. Chuck and I were talking before the show about sort of like the rising prices and just general trend in bourbon whiskey pricing and some of the things that are driving that. We touched on it a little bit last week, but I thought it'd be worthy to get into with a little bit more depth. Last week we talked about, and I just as sort of a jumping off point for this, talking about the idea that a lot of retailers are raising their price as a way of trying to cut out the profit margins on secondary on basically flippers. I buy this bottle and I turn around and I sell it for another $100, $200, maybe if it's something that's rare and allocated. By jacking up the price yourself, that no longer seems like such a great deal for the effort you would have to put in to do that. And maybe that strategy is going to work and maybe it's not. And first, Chuck, I wanted to hear what your thoughts were on that as to whether or not you think that's going to be a successful strategy. And then maybe talk about some of the reasons for the trending in prices.
Could it still be part of the supply issue?
I think to an extent, sure.
Yeah, sure.
But and again, I think it's maybe more. It's not just what's there. It's either this or it's that. I think there's probably a combination of factors. I think supply chain issues are I'm certain part of that equation.
Yeah, I think we're looking at it right now as we have the bourbon boom going, and it's at full speed. It's been at full speed since probably 2019. I would say it got really rolling. And it just hasn't stopped since, and it just keeps on going and going and going. So first off, you have companies like Whistle Pig with their special edition or limited edition that they put out every year that is priced at what, like $500-$600 MSRP, maybe $450 at times, depending upon which one it is. And they name them all these outlandish names and everything, and they have these little bottle toppers on them. The bottle's great, As far as the product goes, as far as the product or what's inside, beats me. But it's $500-$600, and people are tripping all over each other to get it. Now the thing with that is now that's $500-$600. You're taking the secondary out of that product. We know that. Unless you want to make $20 at the most, but then you have to possibly get it to that person somehow.
Yeah.
For $20, how are you going to do that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got to get a hold of it first, which is going to take time and effort. Plus the price of the bottle, obviously.
Yeah.
And then to turn around and get it to somebody and somehow turn a profit and all that, you're not gonna.
You're not.
Yeah,
it's not worth the effort. So you have companies that are doing that. Distillers or manufacturers. So now you have others that are doing this as well. Now I think we're starting to see this, where we're starting to see product. Let's take Bardstown Discovery Series, all their limited edition products.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of these products are starting to go, and that's not just limited to Bardstown. It's Bardstown and everybody else. They're trying to get their product. Say, for example, like Shanks, you'll have this as a, for example, it's not right now, but as a distillery only or Kentucky only product, or it may only be Kentucky and Indiana and Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
And they're trying to limit them that way.
Yeah.
And then you have on the other side, I'm sorry, let me get back to that. You have your products that are being distillery only. They're raising the prices that way. And which is fine, I guess, because you have to go to the distillery. It's increasing revenue for the tourism trade, which is a good thing.
Sure.
And then you have other companies that are, let's look at this on the opposite end of it. You have 4 and 5 year old products now. Let's look at Nashville Barrel Company. Not setting them, aside and scolding them for this, but they're at $100, $99 every day, all day.
Yep.
Then you have products like Penelope, which are 4, 5 year old products, and they're not quite there yet. Some of their products are $79, $89. Mm-hmm. You look at their Architect, I think that's around in the $50s, $59 range. So they're not quite as bad, which is a good thing. And I think you're getting a good product there. And I also think you're getting a good product with Nashville Barrel Company. But look at Stellum, their black label products or their dark green label products, $99 all day, every day.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with their limited edition products. $99. Then you have Barrel, starting at $79 for some of their stuff, depending on like their Vantage, maybe 72. Then you go from Vantage, which they'll be introducing another one next month, Vantage 2. You have that. Then they go way up, sky's the limit with them. You're looking at what, $600 for some of their products?
Yeah, I can't do it. Just can't do it.
So from right there, Barrel products, like say Seagrass, for example, that was all the rage. Seagrass 4.
Yeah.
They're up to 7 or 8 right now. But they took the secondary out of that. With the Seagrass, there was no secondary in that, even though it got all pumped up by certain people on the internet.
Sure.
That didn't help it at all because it's already at $99 plus.
Mm-hmm.
Some people were paying $129, $149 for it out the door.
That's sort of like, to me, is sort of the over under. I guess from the retailer side, it makes great sense. But from someone who's never picked up a bottle that I think I've had a pour once before. I can't remember which expression. It was one of the ones was like $80, but of going like, oh, if this is what it's retailing for, I'm never going to touch this ever. So I'm never going to want it to seek after it and to even get sucked in by the whole secondary market aspect of it. Somebody else got this bottle that I really want and excited about, and I'm willing to pay secondary prices for. Yeah. I'm also not willing to pay the primary, whatever we're going to call it, the MSRP, the retail prices for it, at that price point. But for them, I guess they're operating off of a market that already knows what that product is and is willing to pay at that price point. Like it's a little bit of a risk, but I guess if the market's there, then it's there.
Sure. Yeah. And let's to speak on that with them, like say Midwinter Night's Drum just raise their prices.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people are saying, hey, that's I'm out now at that price.
Yeah.
Well, that's great, you're out, but guess who? Somebody else is in now.
Yeah.
And they're going to be all over that in a heartbeat.
Yeah. So Chuck, here's one that's really interesting. Evan Williams single barrel.
Yeah.
All of a sudden that bottle is now one of the hottest on the street.
It is.
Yep.
Isn't that something?
It's going on secondary all over the place now.
Literally. Now I'll tell you why I'm pissed off though. So one of my guys,
you found a truckload of it, didn't you?
No, but no, here's what's funny. I'm pissed off that I could have it. I'm not really one to go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But my guy Sarab, who he runs Modern Liquors in DC, but he's also part owner of Filibuster.
Okay.
He had some Evan Williams store picks. He was just trying to get rid of them.
Yeah.
Now this was 6 months ago. So I picked up one. I would have grabbed more, but I had left out of there with a few bottles.
A few.
That's a euphemism.
Yeah. But now for me, it's still good because I think I only left with about 3, which is really good. But my dad did pick up one of the barrel. He had a pick of the Barrel Rye, those are really good. But we grabbed a few of those and he had them and they were like 30 and these were picks. I got to look at the age statement. I'll grab it in a second, but I'm so mad I didn't get more of them because I think it might be 13 year. I have to look at it, but his was a pick. So the aging was a little bit longer.
Sure.
I just saw a guy posting, I couldn't tell you which group. I'm in a million of them.
Yes.
This guy literally had 9 of them or 12. I was like, damn, dude.
A bunch.
Yeah. But he knew who was coming, so he bought them all up. And
well, I think part of what I think drove that, and I don't know if it's true or if it's true anymore, but there was talk or speculation, or it was kind of out, word on the street was that they were discontinuing that line. Was it the single barrel? Is that right?
Yes, it's going to be Kentucky only or distillery only now.
That it's going to be gone, so it's like hurry up and get it. And so where in the past I had passed on the shelf a number of times because I love, the bottled and bond. It's one of my favorite, in terms of daily sippers, like that's it. Like I can go get that, find it anywhere all day, every day. And I was like, but if I start getting into that, I'm starting to get a little bit fancier. I'm going to spoil myself on a bottle and bond, so I don't want to touch it. And then I heard, oh, it's about to be gone. Well, shit, I got to go get some now. I got to go see what I can get. So I was able, Jody got me a bottle actually, and I was able to get myself a bottle. So I still have one that's unopened, but it's like, ooh, this is going to be gone at some point. So I need to cherish it. And that's, that's what causes the hype, which is what causes the run on those kinds of things. But it seems like you can still, at least in my area, you can still get it fairly readily. I'm guessing at some point that'll run out, but at least for right now, it's not been terrible. If you're, if people are interested.
It's getting very rare up here.
And then the secondary is going to go through the roof.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Another part, what I think
that'll be the one I flip. Sorry, go ahead, Billy.
Yeah. No, what I think, what I think is starting to happen with the bourbon market, and I'm not nearly as advised and things as some of the other guys in the group are, but I don't know if you guys heard where Ford wants to at some point get rid of all their dealerships and sell direct, because what Ford dealerships are doing, they're putting such a markup on their vehicles, like the Ford Lightning, their full EV truck. These things are not even built, and every last one of them are like literally spoken for.
Yep.
But they're tacking $20,000-$30,000 on top of the price of the vehicle. So the manufacturer's like, well, why are we letting the dealers get this money? Why don't we get it? Yeah. So they're wanting to sell directly to consumer.
That's the one.
That's
anytime they tack anything onto it, they will get the profit from it. So when Chuck was talking about how the distilleries are taking the price higher and higher, I think they're trying to take the money from the secondary market. Why let the secondary market get it when we can get it? We have more control of it than anybody else.
Yep.
And if they could, and if I could respond to that, if they can keep up with demand, I honestly think they absolutely should, because one, secondary markets suck ass. And I went through this experience personally when I was trying to get, again, you're talking vehicles, and I'll talk PlayStation 5. It took me over 2 years to get one of these things I was looking for. You could find it anywhere in the secondary markets and the resellers that would pop up on my Facebook feed and everything else like that, trying to charge 2 and 3 times what MSRP was on these things, and if you're willing to pay it, you can have one tomorrow. You can have one today.
Yeah.
But no, that thing costs $500, $550, $550, whatever. I'm not going to pay more for it. And I'm insulted by the fact that someone's trying to gouge me in that kind of way. So I went Sony Direct. It took their asses forever to come around to me to offer it, but I was right there as it happened. As soon as that offer came in, I was all over it. I think more producers of their own products should absolutely do that to cut out, these secondary markets. If they don't make more of an effort to regulate them, to cut them out. But go ahead.
Tell you the truth, I like that idea, and I like that they're doing that. Smoke Wagon's a perfect example for me. In my area, I don't see that on the shelf anywhere.
Same here.
Yeah.
But I've got this bottle. I'm ordering another bottle tomorrow, right from the distillery.
Yeah.
I like that.
I think
there's
it's great.
Another one, I got the Redwood Empire, the Emerald Giant. I really enjoy that rye from them. They've got another rye out that I'm going to order from them. And I don't mind doing that. I'll order right from the distillery because I know it's not coming to my neighborhood.
Yeah.
And,
I don't mind doing that.
Even for me, I do better wholesale and direct to customer on the internet. At this point, I would lose money going into grocery stores. I would lose money. I really would. And the distillers, they have more control than anybody else. And as far as them keeping up with demand, well, it's kind of like, do we really have to keep up with demand, or do we want to make it scarce? Do we want to take away Stag Senior this year and do something special for next year? Can you imagine the next time Stag Senior hits the market? Can you imagine what the pricing is going to be on it? If you can get it. I mean, really and truly, if you can get it, you would have to be a heavy hitter. because you're not going to see it in the wild, you know.
No.
So it's one of those things where, and I think also what's starting to happen between the secondary and the distillers themselves, bourbon is now truly a luxury item. It really is.
Absolutely.
It is 100% cigars, bourbon, exotic cars, classic cars. These are all luxury items. You need none of these things to live your day-to-day life. If you have some extra coin, well, yeah, cigars you do need. Let me not lie. You do need. And bourbon you do need, but you don't. But again, it's one of those things where if you're not into it, you save yourself some money. I'm sure we've all seen the posts where a guy's working on his car and he's like, the moment you realize a drug addiction would be cheaper. You know? Listen,
don't make me spit out my whiskey.
I mean,
have you tried meth? It's way cheaper. Might lose your teeth, but then you can save on toothpaste.
Yeah.
There you go, right? But even
benefits around every corner, you know.
Let's look at it like this. There's nothing on the face of the earth that COVID did not touch, correct?
Yeah.
But yes. COVID did not touch liquor sales and alcohol sales. It didn't. It increased it. If it did touch it, it increased it.
Yeah.
They didn't sell cars. You had to wait in line to get in the grocery stores. There was no movie theaters. There were no ball games. Nothing. But alcohol, you could still
There was no toilet paper.
There was no toilet. You could get drunk, but you couldn't wipe your ass.
That's right. Well, you could, but you'd have to use your hand.
Yeah, right.
Use your bourbon receipts.
Yes.
There you go.
I was listening to a comedian about that the other day, talking about, because you can't listen to comedy anymore without getting some kind of reference to COVID. There's an Asian, her parent, she was talking about her parents who like fled Korea or something like that, like back ages ago, talking about the toilet paper, like, what's wrong? Like, you can just get in the shower, right?
Oh, that's Joe.
It's bad. You just get in the shower. What's wrong?
That's Joe Coy. I watched that the other day.
Yeah. He is nuts. I love it.
Yeah. Still haven't watched it. I love Joe Coy. I haven't watched it yet. Yeah.
Yeah. He is. Yeah.
And so I think with it now being an official luxury lifestyle or luxury hobby, like Chuck was saying, in 2019 when things really kicked off. So now it's in a different space, where people fight about it, they argue about it, they get offended over it. If you got this, they don't like you. If you got that, they do like you. It's just really a thing now.
It was going on in the VIP chat today. They were talking about the Knob Creek 18.
That's great, yeah.
And all the bad press that like Knob Creek 12 gets, and now they're slamming the 18 for the same damn thing, and it's from people who have never even tried it, or people who don't realize that. When you leave the bourbon in the barrel for that many years, it might have a little extra oaky taste to it.
One would think,
that's if they do it right. You kind of past 16. You're, from what I understand and what I've read, again, not being a person who's had a lot of experience in with that dimension, is that like bourbon gets a little funky after 16 years. Like it can go wrong. Basically, is what I've read. Not always and not in all circumstances, but like you're running that risk.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not be crazy about it. These distillers, they know what they're doing. They have this thing down to a science. Yeah. Even with they have to deal with weather changes and their rig houses. And listen, somebody in that company knows about every barrel in that rig house. You know. Yeah. And where it needs to be at what point in time of the year, this, that, and the other. So I can give some leeway for the craftsmanship that goes into it. Mm-hmm. But what I think a lot of people miss is that you can get into the bourbon whiskey realm and you don't have to break the bank at all. You can set yourself a barrier. Okay, $100 is it for me. Maybe for Christmas I'll go 120 on something. But I mean, listen, You can walk into Total Wines and pick up a bottle that goes anywhere from $20 all the way up to $110, you know, and find some pretty decent stuff if you look right and you know what you're doing.
Absolutely.
I mean, all the basic mixers are under $60, I think.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're damn good pours.
Yeah, they are.
And you can't go wrong with them, you know. Even I think it's the sour mash I saw the other day and Total Wines, and it was on sale. It's normally 60. It was on sale for like I think 45 or something like that.
Nice.
I mean, I have a couple of them, so I walk past it, but I think people need to really. I think they get caught up in the other groups. You know, we was talking about that, where they feel like they have to have the Blanton, they have to have the Eagles,
Yes.
they have to have, they have to have the all of the stags and the B tags and all this.
Yeah.
And listen, I'll be perfectly honest with you. Again, we was talking about the last show. If I never have a bottle of Poppy, would I be upset? No.
Yeah.
If I never get my hands on a Stag Senior, you know, I'll sure I live.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
but it's one of those few bottles that I know if I feel like it's in my range, I'll go for it. You know,
For sure.
I'll even take a little bit of heat from the wife, but even still, for me, there's a range that I'm not going past just because that's just me and my budget, you know, plain and simple.
But one thing that people fail to realize is that in the groups especially is it seems to me that people get tunnel vision. It's Buffalo Trace, Buffalo Trace, Buffalo Chase, choo choo, you know, and it's the same thing over and over and over again. I got my Blantons, I got my Eagle Rare. Look at this big thing of tater salad right here. I have
Taters.
You know, I got this big plate of tater salad. Look at me go, guys. And it's like, come on, people.
Yeah.
There's more out there than that bullshit, you know?
Of course.
Yes, sir.
And that's and I love the fact that Chuck makes that point, because despite everything else, Chuck can really direct somebody an easier way to get into this world. And again, I think that's one of the other things that I love about our group. You know, if somebody new came into our group, we wouldn't let them hang themselves in their wallet on stuff that you really can't get your hands on, or stuff that's way overpriced.
Yep.
One of my favorite, if as a close second to actually drinking the whiskey, my favorite thing about whiskey is helping people who are new and sort of disabusing them of the myths and misinformation and the hype about things. I was talking to a friend of my neighbor the other day. You know, he was talking about rye. I had him try the Redwood Empire Lost Monarch, which is a blend of bourbon and rye. Very balanced. Said he didn't like rye, this and that. What he knew about rye is like, oh yeah, I tried this and it was really fiery and I didn't like it. And I hear Whistle Pigs out there and that's supposed to be good. And I'm like, no, none of that. Try this. We're going to start you here. And we're going to see how it goes, kind of thing. And if you hate this, maybe rye really isn't for you, but you probably had some bad experiences with some not great ryes. And the other thing you know about rye is overhyped bottles, basically, that are, you know, or money bottles bought by people who don't know any better. Usually,
I was talking about that exact same thing last week. There was a time before I found this group. Yeah, I would have walked past rye whiskeys, never gave it a thought.
Yeah.
Never gave it a thought.
You gotta
and now I am thoroughly enjoying my swim through the rye sea.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
love looking
rye.
for the next rye to try. You know, I seen
definitely.
the advertisement for the Redwood Empire with that special rye that they got coming out. Yes, I am ordering that. You know,
Gino, you wasn't a part of the group, but we all I forget how Jody had to set it up where we picked, we had like 5 different pours.
Yeah, we did blind tastings. Yeah, that was really fun. I did mine with rum.
And I did all mines in rye.
That's right.
Nice.
Yeah, that was fun. You placed Rebel 100 pretty high on that, if I remember.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think
over things that are a lot more expensive.
And again,
that wasn't a bad pour. I've had that.
Yeah.
That's not a bad pour.
It's not a bad pour at all. And again, I think that's, and even for me, like I got an invite for a group today. I won't mention any names. I didn't join the
do
group, but I asked the guys on our group, hey, does anybody know about this group X, Y, and Z? Only because, not only from a business standpoint, but I don't want to be involved in some groups that if I feel like their intentions are off. I don't. I don't have I don't have the attitude for somebody to criticize me over what I drink. I'm too willing to tell you to go F off publicly, and I have to be careful with that kind of thing. But so for me, I'm very careful about what groups I would get myself involved with. When I got excommunicado from Bourbon Nation, I was like, oh, okay. Be still my beating heart. I'm so upset with myself.
Yeah. That place was always a shit show, but we'll save that for some other day.
Yeah,
The
we'll
only thing
save
going
that.
on in Bourbon Nation is posting the next drink.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or the crotch shot. Oh,
Mhm.
look what I found.
I,
Look how good
I
am.
hate that. I hate
Yeah.
that.
Here's my
shit.
watch. This is the car I drive. Oh my God, look at me. I'm so
Here's my 13 bottles of that thing that you can't get because I just bought all of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
It is.
again, with those secondary markets, when we talk about pricing, I think there was one bottle that I did particularly want, and it walked up on me literally. Was Blanton's Gold, and
yeah.
I was offered it. I was offered it at a certain price, and I thought it was worth it, and I paid for it because I thought it was worth it. But if somebody said to me, the Basil Hayden Toasted, I think at one point that was on the allocated market or whatever thing, and people were charging some stupid amount for it, and I was like, no. I mean, forget about the fact that I have one, but I wouldn't pay that. It was almost, I think it was almost $80-$90. Excuse me.
I paid. You got me one, I remember, and I drank it, and I got another one. I paid $50 for it, which I didn't love, but I knew the people I was going to be sharing it with would really appreciate it.
Right.
Only that made it worth it, and I do enjoy it. It is a tasty drink.
And listen, if you feel like it's within your budget, I can't tell somebody else how to spend their money.
But 80-90 is oof. That's
No.
that's a bridge too far.
No,
I wouldn't pay
it
that for
really is.
For really what should
And-
be like $30 whiskey, honestly.
Yeah, it's a good
Right.
light.
$40.
It's a good light pour
Yeah.
for the summer.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
I think with the relationship that I had here, that's basically what I was paying for it. A little less, because I bought multiple of them. But that's why I have no interest in being in a secondary group, because I'm not going to buy anything. I'm sorry. I'm just not.
Yeah. As much as I talk about it,
like multiples.
if I hear you. If I got my hands on something really super rare and allocated and this and that, I'd turn it and flip it for hundreds of dollars. I know myself well enough to know I would turn around and give it to one of you guys at cost if you really wanted it that much, and I couldn't really afford to hold it myself. If you know what I mean? No.
See, that's one of the
I
things
just
where I'm
I don't got the
different.
energy for that shit. Honestly.
If I can't afford to buy it, hold it, enjoy it,
yeah,
I don't care what it is.
yeah. What's the
You know?
point? So,
If I get something that I don't like, it might move to the back of the shelf. I'll try it again maybe some other year. I find something that I like that I can get a lot of. I know someone else might like. I'll send it out.
And that's why I think everybody's tastes are their own, because
I just never get into that secondary idea. Maybe it's because I don't want to put the effort into finding this damn thing.
yeah.
And then once I find it, the effort into remarketing it and try to find a buyer to turn a profit for myself.
Yeah.
I'm not into bourbon for that reason.
Yeah.
And not only that, but if I can get something through one of the contacts here in the group, and somebody said to me, "Listen, it's $100," I wouldn't have any problem sending it, because I know whenever you send it out, you'll send it out, whatever. But nowadays, with all the scams like what Chuck talked about last week, I'm not sending money to nobody. unless I know you enough like that.
Yeah, if you're not in this little crowd, then
no. I'm sorry, I wouldn't send your ass $5.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry. It's just, I mean, and for me, money isn't everything, but the one thing I know is you don't play with people's monies and people's emotions. That's for sure. Ain't that's what Big Worm said in Friday? Don't play with my money and my emotions.
Don't do it, Smokey.
So again, one of those things, we can get emotional about this stuff. I don't want to get emotional that somebody took $120 off me and I got nothing but a middle finger for it. No. Absolutely not.
No, it ain't worth it. It ain't worth it.
No.
Hell no.
Not at all.
Yep. Well, guys, we're here at the top of the hour. I think it's probably a good place to call the live show. For folks of you who've been with us, been watching, joining, we got our regulars there. Appreciate everyone participates, comments. We love the comments. I love reading the live comments. So keep those coming in the future. Check us out, like and subscribe on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're on Instagram. Am I missing anything else? We doing TikTok yet? We doing TikTok? No. They are. I don't really mess with it. I'm just here to MC this thing. But appreciate you all. Billy, continue to be safe down there. I know it's really only the beginning of the chaos and the struggle that's going to take place in the aftermath of. Is it Ian? Is that
Ian? Something like that.
Ian. Yeah, Ian. Ian's an asshole. Fuck you, Ian. What is your name? But guys, go ahead.
Finally, before we go, Alabama Slammer, coleslaw mix, Caesar dressing, and blue cheese dipping sauce. They will be out next week online to purchase. And
you hear it?
The bourbon barbecue sauce. I know it's been delayed, but listen, it'll all be worth it. I'm getting them all together.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
You know that blue cheese makes a good salad dressing.
Yes.
No doubt.
Yes. Yeah.
There you go.
So that is coming. And guys, listen, if you're not a part of the VIP chat, please send us a message, get in on it, some good stuff, some good information. And that's basically it. Check us out, guys. Thank you.
Yep.
That's it. You guys, it's been lovely. Be safe. Be good to each other. Most importantly, guys. There you go. Be good to yourself. And for those of you who are joining us Saturday over at Jody's, looking forward to it. Yeah, I'm not getting in the pool. Anyway, you guys take care.
All right, brothers, sisters.
Later.